All right, so Caitlin Clark, her popularity, her marketability, all that stuff, I've maintained and consistently stated that it is on a basketball basis. That there are other factors that play in, but the root of it is basketball, the way she plays the game, how exciting she is to watch, the fact that she looks different out on the floor than everybody else. She moves differently, she shoots differently, she passes differently. There's an edge of your seat excitement that you feel when you watch Caitlin Clark. And I think that's brought a lot of male fans to the sport, NBA fans to the sport, yet the discourse has been about everything else, as if her being white or whatever the case may be led to her popularity. Of course, there have been many great white WNBA players in the past, so it doesn't really track that that would be the thing. Is it because she's from Iowa or didn't go to one of these prestige programs? What is the cocktail of the popularity and the marketability? Of course, all of that is going to blend together. All of these things are going to be garnishes, as I've said, but Clark's the basis is basketball. So it was nice to see a former NBA player say that. Someone who has experience within the game, Jim Jackson, longtime NBA player, had a good, solid career. Nothing of like particular note, but played for a long time. Played for like almost, I think, 15 years, 14, 15 years in the WNBA. And he had this to say about Caitlin Clark's popularity and marketability.
Congratulations to Caitlin Clark for being named Time Athlete of the Year. I get why people are so upset. I'm a basketball player and a basketball fan. There's a lot of dynamics and a lot of layers to this thing when it deals with Caitlin Clark. But I will say that this is just my opinion. It's certain people, I don't care if you're black, white, Spanish, from Europe, it doesn't matter, that have it, that draw something, okay? And Caitlin is one of those. It's the reason why Steph Curry, who may not be the best player, okay, in the NBA, but he draws differently. He draws different. He can be marketed differently than other players. And some players he may be considered better, maybe Kevin Durant. But the market, to market Kevin Durant is a lot different than marketing Steph Curry. People resonate with Steph Curry a lot more than a KD. Now, that may be KD's personality. Okay, he doesn't really care. I'm just using KD as an example of a player that physically is, I think, a better overall player than Steph. But Steph, from a marketing perspective, is more valuable in terms of marketing and what he brings to the table. And that's what I see with Caitlin Clark. Caitlin may not be, Asia Wilson is the best player in the WNBA, but Caitlin is more marketable because people tend to resonate. I don't care, black, white, whatever it may be. Now, there is a race component to it. It always will be in some regards, okay? But the player itself, the person, what she was able to do, how she resonated, how she drew eyes to the TV. I don't agree with the Mystics owner saying that the whole WNBA should have been named up, because that's not true. The whole WNBA benefited this year from the viewership increase because of the excitement between Angel Reese and also Caitlin Clark. But from a pure marketing perspective, Caitlin Clark was it.
The it factor, right? And he is completely right about that. I don't necessarily agree with every single detail of the comments, but that's generally going to be the case. I mean, and that would be more of an argument about Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, which is a fun basketball argument, by the way, like, because KD does have all of the, he's got the height, he's unstoppable when he's got it going because of that. And when he came to the Warriors, they won. I would take Steph just because Steph won before KD, Steph won after KD, right? And of course they won when KD was there because he went to a 73-win team. But to me, Steph Curry's appeal, yes, it was something that made him popular because he shot the way he did. But I also think his impact on the court, the way he was able to warp the defense, his gravity is the buzzword, I guess, and have the defense come out and extend and manipulate the defense because he can handle the ball and get where he wants on the floor. I think that ultimately made Steph Curry one of the best players of all time. I mean, to me, it's the best players of my lifetime personally are LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and Steph Curry. Those are my top three that I've watched. Obviously, KD is amongst those. Magic and Bird were a little bit before me, but they're amongst those. Kobe, Shaq, Tim Duncan. There are so many great players over the years, but I think it sells Curry a little short, is all I'm saying, to simply say he was more marketable and not as good. But the point stands, and the marketability point stands. And I think it goes over to the WNBA, and I've said this, you can't force people to like something or force people to be excited about something. And they haven't necessarily. A'ja Wilson has fans. A'ja Wilson is a great player, but she hasn't exactly captured people's imaginations like that. And I think that's more so because of her game and because she's a big. Same thing goes for the NBA. In the history of the NBA, the bigs have not captured the imagination in the same way, right? Like Tim Duncan, who I referenced, was never the most popular. Allen Iverson was more popular than Tim Duncan, but Tim Duncan was better. Now, with Wilson and Clark, obviously Clark is more popular than Wilson. I'm not so sure that starting next year, Clark isn't better as well. But you get the broad point when it comes to that it factor and the appeal in the box office and the sales and the tickets and the ratings and all those things. And whatever it is about Caitlin Clark, the problem I think people can't explain it is because there is no it. The it is the it. And eventually, hopefully, we'll just move past all that discourse and dialogue from the people who can't take it that Caitlin Clark has it. I mean, that's really more what you see than anything else. People can't take it that Caitlin Clark has it. But it's plain and obvious to see. I've called her the face of basketball, really, right? Like, and that's the truth. That's what you see with Caitlin Clark here moving forward, and the discussion. It just so happens to be that the next basketball player in that line or that lineage of Magic and Bird and Michael Jordan and Kobe and Shaq and LeBron James and Steph Curry happen to be a female. Nobody made that happen. The media didn't make that happen. Broadcasters, social media didn't make that happen. I didn't make that happen. Nobody made that happen. It happened. There's no putting the toothpaste back in the tube. So it was cool to see somebody who's been around the block, who understands, who has seen it all really in a lot of ways and seen a lot of the stars of the game. Put it so simply, Caitlin Clark has it. Ain't no more to it.